to Cooking with Kenny and Nell. So today we are going to make a soup, and it just so happens to be a very cold and chilly Sunday, so it's soup or Sunday. So anyway, we are going to make a recipe that is going to be perfect to clean out your refrigerator if there's something that you need to use up, or you want to make a big meal that will provide throughout the week. This is a recipe for you. The recipe is loosely based on a recipe in this cookbook called Vegetable Literacy by Deborah Madison, who is an amazing, I don't know if she's a chef. She just writes good books, cookbooks. So I'm gonna use that. My cooking style has always been cook to your heart's content. I use recipes as guides. I don't necessarily follow them. That's why I hate baking. The recipe calls for aromatics like onion, celery, garlic, things like that. And I'm gonna get started with those, and then we're just gonna see what else is in the fridge. I'm gonna chop up the celery here. Oh, and let me introduce you to our cameraman today.
Hello, I didn't flip the screen around, so I have no idea what you are seeing right now, but I've also been sitting on the couch just about all day, watching YouTube and now watching football, so you don't want to see me. Back to the cook.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, because I look 10 times better.
Yeah, but you're cooking food, so
True story.
that's better than looking at me.
All right, tip number 1. When you're handling a knife, you always want to make sure that you have a thumb and your finger wrapped around the very base of the knife that allows you more control. I learned that in my restaurant days. No one's ever gonna accuse me of being a very clean cook. Things will fall on the floor.
I was thinking more so, typically when she cooks on a Sunday when we're at home, and sometimes she'll just cook all day long.
It's true.
She'll use almost every pot and dish that we have.
And today, I'm using one.
Yeah. I'll believe that when I see it.
Don't show this to any of the students from the Culinary Institute of America, okay? All right. And once I'm finished chopping one thing, I just kind of move it off to the side here. This recipe does not call for any meat of any kind because, the cookbook is called Vegetable Literacy. However, you could add some meat if you wanted to. You could add some chicken. I think we might actually have some sausage I didn't use for something that I might incorporate into this somehow.
I think that's a great idea.
I will also mention that this recipe calls for 1 clove of garlic. 1 clove is never enough, in my opinion. So when the recipe calls for 1 clove, I hear that as 1 bulb.
You've been involved in any cooking in this house, and by that I mean her cooking. You will know that there will be no vampires invading our house when she cooks, because the whole house smells like garlic, but not a bad thing.
So I am taking my knife and I am carefully smashing the garlic.
Let's get a closer look at it. And during this process, I'm a little extra nice to her.
All right, I've peeled all of the garlic and I'm now ready to chop it. And just so you know, the order of entry for each of the ingredients, the garlic will go in after the onion and the celery. Why? Because garlic burns easily. So the aromatics have been chopped. I am going to now place them in my handy dandy Le Creuset Dutch oven here. I love this thing. It's probably a little overkill for today's project, but it's just awesome. And I love her. So if you are choosing to add meat, I don't know if you have cooked chicken that you want to use, then you can just throw that in whenever. But if you have something uncooked like sausage, I am going to brown that first. First things first, we are going to heat up the Dutch oven, but we're not going to put the oil in until the pot is heated. Why? Because if you're using olive oil, that burns too. There's not a very high smoke point. So the last thing you want is rancid, overcooked oil. So stove goes on to medium heat.
And in case anybody's wondering, we're filming this while we're watching the AFC Championship game. And the Bengals are in the midst of a comeback, from what I can tell, over her shoulder on our kitchen TV.
That's not that much of a comeback.
It's going better than it was in the first half.
So I am going to throw the olive oil in, and I usually just eye it till I coat the bottom of the pan. And listen for the sizzle. And then just let them do their thing. While that's happening, I am going to open my can of organic diced tomatoes. Because after all, this is a chickpea and tomato soup.
And sausage, apparently.
And if tomatoes were in season, I would be cutting up fresh tomatoes.
With the weather we've been having, there's not a whole lot that's in season.
And I'm also going to open my can of organic garbanzo beans, also known as chickpeas. Alright, I'm just gonna let those drain off to the side. Ew. See, I made a mess already.
What did you do?
I think I opened a can and there's some liquid. Alright, now that I have some more space opened up on my cutting board, I'm gonna chop up a couple of herbs. So I'm just gonna eye this. I think the recipe called for 2 teaspoons or tablespoons or something. I'm just gonna do what I want. So the sausage is getting there, but at this point now, I feel confident enough that I can throw the onions and celery in. Add all of my stuff in there. You see these little brown bits on the bottom? That's flavor, baby. So the onions and the celery are getting towards that translucent stage where they're almost ready. So now I'm gonna add the garlic. Get in there. My glasses are fogging up. So to this mixture, I am going to add a little bit of tomato paste. This is a couple of tablespoons. This is like the flavor base for the soup. So I think we're actually ready to deglaze the pan now, and what I'm gonna use, you wanna use some sort of an acid. So I'm actually going to use this can of diced tomatoes to be able to do that. And when I pour it in, you're gonna hear a large sizzle, and then when I start stirring, all of those little brown bits are gonna come up. Everything is getting scraped off the bottom. See how it's just coming together here? And the liquid that I'm going to add to this is going to be a vegetable stock. I like to use Better Than Bouillon. It's organic, and I can control the level of sodium. I'm gonna add 4 cups of liquid to this soup. So it's about a teaspoon per cup. So that's what I'm gonna do. And those chickpeas that we drained earlier, I'm gonna throw those in. Get all this stirred up. Probably should have added this before, but oh well. And look how pretty this is. So good for a cold winter night. So I'm gonna cover this puppy up, let it simmer for about an hour, and then we'll check on it and see how it's looking. All right, you guys, the time has come to check on the soup. I think it should be about ready. Also to note a couple of things since we've been gone. That comeback that I was really diminishing from the Bengals, they actually came back and won that game. So I stand corrected.
So these NFL playoffs this year. Something.
Ooh, that is simmering nicely. Oh, I just thought about it. I should have added a bay leaf.
A little late.
All right, so I am going to taste this and see what it needs. Also, while you were gone, I forgot to add the oregano, so I added the oregano. That's pretty tasty. Doesn't need any salt. I think I might add a little bit of ground pepper. And I do believe that we are ready to eat. All right, you guys.
The surface of the sun.
It's so hot, but it's so good.
Oh, hot. Oh, wow. Very good. Cheese adds something. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys, this is a wonderful meal to have on a cold night like tonight, and just literally take anything out of your fridge. You could add some greens to this if you wanted to, some kale or spinach.
Well, you could really put anything into it, really.
You can. So this is a great idea for a healthy meal to stretch out during the week. You can make a ton of it, and you can be set for lunches and dinners too. So the book is called Vegetable Literacy by Deborah Madison, and I will link it down below in case you're interested in trying it out for yourself. Final thoughts?
Thank you to all our new subscribers. We got a bunch of new subscribers lately, and we couldn't be more grateful for that. If you're here for the first time, this may look like a cooking channel, which it's not. It may look like, if you watched the last couple of videos, it may look like a work from home channel.
Yeah, and if you go back further, it looks like a travel channel, because that's usually what it is.
Truth is, it's all of those right now, and I encourage you to go back and watch some of the earlier videos. This is your first video. It'll catch you up. This will make a little more sense to you. Also, next weekend, we're hoping maybe to at least get back on the road.
Yeah.
And take a little road trip. So, and then, of course, San Diego in a few weeks. So, yeah. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. All right, you guys. Look at this deliciousness.
Surface.
Oh no! I poured it all over the thing.